Okay, so do universities provide value for the dollar that students are spending? And what are the gaps in the ecosystem? That's the question we're presented with. I want to start out with some factoids because they're useful. 1989 equals $51,681. 2012 equals $51,017, decline of some $500. What's that? Real family income in the United States. Sticker price. Educational sticker price over the last 12 to 13 year period plus 100%. At plus 100%, indexing less, but significantly running ahead of inflation. Educational attainment, its relationship to family wealth, family income. We can notice that 96% of the educational categories, that's master's degrees and lower, have had negative growth in their income over the last 13-year period. It's only those with PhDs and in professional degrees, including MBAs, just so those of you that are here, who have had positive gains over that period of time. Okay, some factoids. Demography 101. Who has children in the United States? We can vote for rich people, or we can vote for poorer people. Rich people have fewer children by a wide margin, under 2 per family. Poor people have children approaching 3 to 4. Where are the college-educated people of tomorrow going to come from? 3 questions that are worth pondering as we look at the value proposition of higher education. And this is a thought exercise. We can actually do this later. 1, can the university raise its price 3.5% compounding annually from now until perpetuity? Looking backward, that looks like it's our model. Question 2, if you believe we can raise our price 3.5% compounding annually, do you also believe we can maintain the quality of our academic institution with the student body and its faculty in perpetuity? And if you still think the answer is yes, let's go to question 3. If we can compound tuition 3.5% annually from now until perpetuity and maintain our academic quality, can we also maintain our diversity? Someplace along the line, something is going to give. Hence the disruption moment that we talked about in the last panel. How do we know whether what we do is valuable? And I think of this as the problem of I am and you are. When you ask whether college is worth it, the first answer usually comes from within the person. It's an individual question. It's subjective. It's intrinsic. It's about, I enjoyed myself. I learned things. I had a great experience. Our last talk could have actually been that talk, right? The intrinsic value of education, the perceived takeaway from the person who's come there. And is there evidence that college education is valuable? Of course. People come. They strive. They want to learn. They invest themselves in this education, and they strive to go as high in the hierarchy as they can. Because as they do, their brother and sister wizards increase in intelligence, just like themselves. The network effects get better, and we strive for those things because they have a feel-good nature to them. But the question is the you are of whether it's valuable. So if we can say to ourselves, we feel better, I've learned things, is it validated in the marketplace by those who perceive what you have learned and value what you have learned? Are the takeaways that General Assembly would look for present as a result of the educational process? Because if education is about gaining knowledge to do things, do we have a sufficient deliverable on the gaining knowledge to do those things? You say there's a gap. Is it a gap that has to be filled within the educational institution? And if the answer to that is no, we must believe 3.5% compounding annually will proceed in perpetuity, that quality will remain in place, and that we will be equally diverse, even if the gap between real income and price continues to grow. Is that a foreseeable future? Now, we might say it's foreseeable for some of the universities. We live in a stratified world right now, and as the president suggested earlier, as John suggested, we may see greater stratification in the years ahead. So is it a good for society to imagine a future that says elite education is for the rich, the powerful, the moneyed, and everything else is for everyone else. And if Occupy Wall Street or Occupy the educational institution has taught us anything, the 1% cannot survive as the 1% in perpetuity without also thinking about what has to happen next. So what's the gap? How do we fill the gap? I want to think about this as the disaggregated aha moment. Now, what do I mean by that? Coders, critical thinkers. We easily can disdain the idea that code is about learning some stuff. If you learn enough stuff, you can do some stuff. Therefore, education is about learning stuff. Nuggets of knowledge is what we produce. On the other hand, a colleague might say, no, it's about immeasurables, about critical thinking skills, about producing in myself a better person. Education is about all of those things. It's about knowledge, it's about skill, and it's about values. Knowledge, it's going to be disrupted, it's going to be cheap, it's going to be commodified because we can gain nuggets of knowledge through General Assembly, Code Academy, or Bob talking to me on the street. Skills. We can teach each other skills in a peer-to-peer environment. We can teach each other things. We can teach each other things. You can teach each other things. And you can learn how to do by doing on the job. Values. Core, fundamental, growth as a person, wisdom. That's where we have to have the sweet spot in the university, is to provide value education, experiential education that is about producing more in the person than what was there when they began. And what we will look for in the years ahead are the way to hybridize all of those disaggregated aha moments to produce value. Cheaply what can be done cheaply, and expensive that which has to be done in face-to-face.